Hi guys, Kim Cash here. I'm at my advent calendar and I'm taking off the 13th. I know this is going to be on the 14th, but I'm a day behind. So here's my advent calendar present for the 13th. And I can tell that my daughter did this one because she likes this wrapping. It's so cute. And she always over wraps. Thanks, Kara. What did she get me? Oh, candy molds. I love it. And this week I'm going to be making some Christmas treats because I'm going to be giving away some presents to my friends and neighbors on Friday. So this will be perfect. Thanks, Kara. So what we're doing tonight is we're making Danish Christmas stars. See if you can see that. I'll show you a couple different examples. People, one of the traditions is to make them out of paper, and that's why I call it a Danish origami. Let me show you this other one. We use ribbon just because I think it makes it more dramatic, and you could use wrapping paper if you wanted to cut it, if you wanted to do all the cutting out of it. But paper, flimsy paper is sometimes difficult to work with. And the ribbons are actually, I think, a little easier. But I haven't made these for a couple of years. And my husband's the big authority on it because he's the Danish one. So I'm going to have him talk to you about how you cut the paper or the ribbon and show you the basics of how to make these stars. But I'm going to make some alongside him as he's making them because I like to hang them on the tree. After we have the stars, I just put a ornament hook on it, or you could just sew. Sometimes I just sew with a thread and needle a little loop and hang that on the tree. Plus you could put them on packages. Sometimes what he does is he only makes half of a side, and then you can just tape, using double-sided tape or just rolling your tape. Just tape this on a package instead of a bow. And it adds a little homemade touch, and I just think it's something sweet, and it's a tradition we've had in our family for, well, he's had it his entire life, but I've had it for about 40 years, and the kids enjoy it too. They make these stars with us. Anyway, I'm going to have him talk for a little bit, and you can watch, and maybe if you have some ribbon or paper, you could join along. This is my husband Lars, and we're going to be making these stars. But I also thought I'd just tell you a little bit about this. When we're sitting here crafting, we tend to either have some hot spiced wine, which is called gløgg in Danish, and it's another Danish tradition. And if you want to see the recipe and instructions on how to make gløgg, you can look down on my Vlogmas posts in YouTube. Anyway, this is from, it's called Madeira, and it's a fortified wine. Let me see if I can bring it up there. It's from the Visatui winery, and I discovered this on a destination run. I go on a run with some girlfriends on Sundays, and then once a year we do a destination run, and we went down to Napa Valley for this one run, and then we went wine tasting. And when we went wine tasting, I discovered Visatui winery, and I just fell in love with this Madeira. And we order it online now because in Portland it would be too far of a drive to go pick up some Madeira. Anyway, we have these little shot glasses. These are another Danish tradition for not absinthe, schnapps. And at the holidays we have schnapps or aquavit, and one of the traditions is to say, "Værsgo."
Skål.
Skål. Cheers. Happy holidays. Okay, so now Lars is going to explain the steps of making these Danish stars. I'll pull some out here so you can see the example. And I'm going to zoom in so you can watch real closely. But he's pre-cut the ribbon for us, and you could have paper, but I'll let him explain it all to you, and I'm going to zoom in so you can watch. So we're going to make the stars out of paper because it's the easiest. We had some fiddly ribbon that we were going to use, but it was too curly. So now we've got some paper.
So this paper is normally, if you're doing with ribbon or paper that's like 3/4 of an inch wide, you'd want to have at least like 26 inches long or something, and then fold them fold them together, make a crease. Okay, so and you make 4 of those. So if I'm a right-handed person, there's a certain way to do it. If you're left-handed, there's a different way. So basically, I'm doing.
Because you're right-handed.
Because I'm right-handed, I'm doing it this way. If you're doing left-handed, then you do it a little differently. After we make them, then I'll explain why. So we're folding these. All we're doing is kind of locking them over. This last one goes around there, so they interlock like this.
So it's weaving.
Just weaving them together, and we're just pulling them little bit by bit by bit, and then they form a little square. This is going to be the star here.
Okay, so when you hold it, you've got the long piece here
on the left side.
On the left side.
Yeah.
And then this one's on the left. It's all the same.
See,
going around.
No matter what I do, you can start anyway because they all look the same. Now we take on the left side and we flip it all the way down, opposite from where they were going, and then we go lock. Then we take the next one, we flip it over, and kind of lock that one. And next one, flip it over the last one we just flipped over, and then we take the last one, the 4th one, and flip it over and tuck it into the other one.
Hold on. I gotta stand behind you to watch you do it.
Okay.
Okay, so what I did is I took the first one down.
Yeah, and then this one. And then this one.
Okay.
And then you work around on your left. Yes.
Okay, work from the left.
Yeah.
Let me see if they can see this. Like that. And then this one up. And this
and then
one
the last one
over and in.
Yeah, the top one.
Yeah.
The top of the 2 hanging.
Yeah. And then
goes over and under.
And then into this.
Right.
Maybe they should have been cut a little.
Maybe some are not perfectly cut.
Maybe just cut them into a point more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and you should have little points, or they either be points like this, or at least some.
No, I think the points are the best because otherwise they get kind of stuck. I just think this would be the easiest.
Yeah,
to make a sharp point.
Sure, we can.
Because then they go in easier, I think. That's just my take on it.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're ready to, let's go back just a tiny bit.
Sorry.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
So now we're ready. So because I'm right-handed, this is all, assume we're right-handed person who's doing it. You start on the, I'm going to be holding this thing with my left hand, and I'm doing all the folding with the right hand. So what we do, we take this one on the right, on the top, and I turn it so that now what was on the facing me is facing away, and then I pull it so I make a little angle there, a 45-degree angle. Then I take this same one, I hold this with my left hand, and I fold it down like this. That makes a little point.
Okay.
And then, see, she's done this, so she's already ahead of me.
So then I rotate it to the right?
Flip it over, yeah, just like you did. You flip
No,
it.
I mean for the next point.
Oh,
okay.
It doesn't matter. See,
it doesn't matter?
So,
okay.
So you take it, fold it, that makes that point. That's the point right here of the star that was just made. So now I push that back, and I fold, and I stick this thing here into this little flap there and I tighten it, and when I do that, then I make a point. And then I do the same thing, I go over here, or it doesn't matter at this point how you do it. You can also rotate, but whatever you do the same thing 4 times. I'm folding it, making a little point, and then I'm tucking it into this.
And it's kind of important that you line up and make the point, because when you fold this piece right here, you want to get a nice point so your star has good points. If you don't take the time to do that, it's not going to be a sharp point on the tip of your star.
So now here again I'm folding it. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you can go left or right, but you just keep following the same little procedure, folding it over, make a point, tip the star back just to kind of get out of the way so you can tuck this other piece in here. Okay? And then when you pull down on it, you let the star point to come up. And then I go on to my 4th one, fold it over, it goes back down, I fold it over, tip it back a little bit, and then I tuck it into this fold that's sitting there waiting right there. And then I pull down, and then as I pull down, then I let the point of the star come up. So now I just flip the whole thing around.
Okay. When they're cutting their paper, so that it doesn't get stuck, you want it to be thin enough to slide in.
Yeah, the tips, if anything, you want to make the tips a little
More
narrower than in other words, this tip's out here to be a little narrower.
Okay, so I've got the 4 now. So now we flip it.
Flip it over
Okay.
and do the exact same thing.
Okay.
We take flip it out. See, we're just doing the exact same thing, but we're doing it on the other side of the star.
On the right side. Right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were doing
I'm still doing everything on the right. See, because when you flip it over, what was left over here is now the right. So then I tuck it in there. Sometimes if it's a little tight, it's a little hard to get it out.
Yeah, I think it's important to have the tips a sharp point, because I'm having trouble with the ones that are not sharp enough points.
And then you fold it, and then you fold down, and we make another little point, and you just tip the point back so you can tuck this there into that little
Pocket.
or that little fold like this. And then here, and you only grab the front one. You don't grab the one that's behind it. We're only folding one at a time.
This is weaving. It's kind of like origami, a Danish origami, but it's also like if you had fabric, like weaving or yarn, weaving something together.
Oops.
And who taught you how to do this?
Well, I learned this when I was a child in Denmark. I don't know if everybody did this, but I think it's a common thing over there, and maybe even so now. Yeah, this is a little tight.
I think that we gotta be careful how we cut them.
Yeah, you can also, if you want to make it easier, you can make your tips a little. The tips, this is all gonna be cut off, so you can trim things a little bit if you want, like that.
Yeah, I would trim it to make it a little narrower to feed in.
This is we're also using construction paper, which is a little thicker than obviously normal paper. So if you're making your knots kind of tight, it's a little tougher. It's not quite as. Actually, I'm gonna take. Yeah, okay, I should be able to do it. There we go. So now I did this side first, and now I've done this side first. Now that's all the outside stuff. Okay, So now we need to make the stars that go, the tips that go here and here. We've already made the outside ones.
So we make the three-dimensional
So what
part
we
now.
do is now, the way it sits, we fold everything back, make a crease on every one of these lines. This is to make...
Hold on, go back.
Okay, doesn't matter where you start.
Okay.
You can start either side, doesn't
Okay.
matter what. Whatever they're doing, you want them...
Okay, but look, so if I fold this one over
Just leave it there.
and that one
and
up,
that one.
but those aren't, they're not weaving together.
No, nothing. We're not weaving anything. We're just
Okay.
making a fold. We're just flipping things. You can flip it and flip it back if you want to. Doesn't matter what you do. We're just making a crease that goes, a crease here on every one of these, on both sides. We're just making a crease. You can make a crease and let it go back to where it was. We're just making creases. We're not folding anything at the moment. So
Okay.
now I've gone around and everything, all of these 8 pieces here have all been creased. Now we put them back to where they were, and so
Okay.
everything is sort of flat.
Okay.
So now we take, I'm going to start with this one here. We take this and we
Hold
flip
on,
it.
I want to do it with you. Okay, so we take this one, right?
Well, I want to hold it. You want to take the one that's hanging down to on your right. On your right.
This one?
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay.
You take it,
Mm-hmm.
you go all the way around, and you tuck it into the one down here, underneath this one, right here. So what you do is you move this thing out of the way, and then you feed it slowly into, and it will come out. There, it's one of the tip. And now you hold this thing up and loop, and you tighten it a little bit, and then you make a point. Okay?
Okay.
And then you can turn it to the right or left. I usually turn it to the left because now it's all we got to do the same thing here. I don't have to push anything out of the way.
Hold on. So I've got this one over here.
Yeah.
And then which one am I supposed to be doing?
This one.
Okay.
This one. And you stick it under the star that you just made, or whatever the point. I'm just doing the same thing that I just did, and making another point. Then I rotate it. And you can do it in any order you want, but and then sometimes you have to, if you're working with paper, your tips can get a little dull after a bunch of folding because you're sticking it in this fold and sticking another fold. And then when you pull through, then you make the other point. Now I'm doing the 4th one. Oh, yeah, this paper is this construction paper?
Yeah.
It's a little thick, so it's not folding quite as easily as normal paper. But sometimes you have to kind of squeeze it in there. There we go. Now I got it in there, and now it comes out, and then I pull it. This is the 4th one I pull through, and there. That's the 4th point of the star.
There we go.
I want you back up a little bit here so they can see you. All right, come closer.
No, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
mean, come closer.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've got that side.
So we have that together. Now we flip it over and do the exact same thing we just did. And we've already got the creases. So the creases are what makes it, gives it a nice sharp texture. See, it goes through. I went underneath, and then I pull out here, and there's a loop. And then I just tighten it carefully. Not too tight, because if I do it too tight, the paper will just rip. Then I go to the next one. It doesn't matter what order you do on these. And if you don't do the little crease like I said, then sometimes the points don't turn out really like little points. They don't make a nice little loop. So here's the loop. And then the 4th one. with the third one. The way we've been doing it. Tucks in there and comes out.
The good thing about it is it'll be very durable.
Yeah,
and so they
they'll
might
stay,
last for a while.
and they'll stay their shape. Sometimes when you're using nylon ribbon or plastic ribbon, it doesn't want to really stay in place. And once this is in place, it's not going to want to be undone. And you can sometimes, at this point, this is when you want to have a nice, if through all the weaving and everything your tips are getting dull, then they just have to be tight enough to get in
Trim
the
them
little
off.
crack. And right now I'm in the last, you want my back up a tiny bit?
Okay, sorry.
That's okay, or you can come over here.
No, it's okay. Go ahead and show them.
So here's the fourth one, and I pull it. If you pull too much, then you ruin the point, and so that's why you gotta be careful when you do that. There, that's as tight as I want to get. So now, that's it. Now, all I gotta do is trim,
The leftover.
and you can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, if a person wanted, let's say that we had two different colors, and I wanted to make a star that looked like this, you know, there would be different colors. But if I want to make a star that looks like this one here, then I go and I just trim off. I just trim off these little things in the middle here, and that's how you get your pointy star. And you have to be careful not to trim too much, because then you'll cut the pieces. So I'm just kind of doing roughly, and to show you. And you just rotate and you just trim off these little extra. And sometimes it gives you a nice two-tone if you actually leave it like this here. Because if you have more than one color, then you'll have alternating colors all over the place.
So we just trim the excess. It might be nice to have a little scissor so you can get really close in there.
Yeah, some of these bigger, so you can see here that there's a little piece, and sometimes you can only trim so much off, because if you trim too much off, you're going to cut it, unravel it, and the whole thing is
Ruined.
It's ruined.
We don't want to do that.
What we do oftentimes put on our tree is we'll take, when we're done with this, in one of the points of the star, take a little needle or something, and a needle and thread, and tie it in there, and then it just hangs on the tree like this. So there.
And there you have it.
Closer.
Let's see. It's a three-dimensional star made with paper.
And you can use the same color, you can use 3 colors.
Okay, so
There you
I just wanted to say thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
go. Bye-bye.